From your unit 2, I shared the document where few portions were there, like substantive and procedural difference was there. Civil and criminal law difference was there. Now there are two more parts which we have here: public and private law plus civil and common law. Okay, so we will be doing this part, and judiciary, again, I need a bit of clarification on what to study. So I'm leaving this part for now. Okay, so these two things we will be discussing today: differences between public and private, civil and common. All right. Next one is civil and common law. Another one we saw, civil and criminal, which means two different branches of law. We are dividing laws into those two categories. Same civil word you will be getting. That was also civil law. This is also civil law. Okay. But when you see civil law with common law, it means type of legal system followed in a country. When you see civil law along with criminal law, that means two different categories of laws that are applicable in a country. Okay, civil law and common law means the legal system which is being followed in a certain country. All right. So what is civil law and common law countries? Now, when we talk about legal system of a country, right, it's always like a certain set standard is there. Like in India, if you talk about India, we have very well defined legal structure in India, right? There are division of courts also, Supreme Court, then 25 high courts. Under them, we have subordinate courts divided into civil and criminal. Apart from that, we have various other judicial bodies, like we have tribunals, we have commissions, we have different commissions, we have different boards. So many different bodies are there, which are also given powers and functions just like the regular courts, right? So their appointment, their term of office, everything is well defined. We have legislature which would make the laws. Everything is well defined over there. So what is the type of legal system that is followed in a certain country? Based on them, countries can be broadly classified into civil law countries and common law countries. Okay, so what is civil law and common law countries now? Civil law countries are those countries in which legal system is broadly based on written codes. Codes as in codes, statutes, acts, legislations. That means something in a written form, like a written document, it is given to you. You are not confused over there. You get the document, you read it. Whatever is written there, that is the law, nothing beyond it. Okay, whatever is written there, that is the law that will be applicable. That means you have very clear idea on what may be the punishment, what are the laws applicable, what is not applicable. Everything is clearly written in a codified form. It is available. That is nothing but a civil law country. Civil law system is one of the most oldest forms, and it originated from Rome. Okay, ancient Roman system. From there it originated, where things were written, and from there it will be applicable. Everyone knew about it. What is the law, what will be applicable and what not. In a civil law system, governments create complete codes of law. There is and like with time, laws also need to change. Like if you talk about online transactions or online business or like e-commerce as such, we were not having any sort of regulations. Now we have few regulations coming up, but still a lot needs to be done. Why it is being done? Because online is getting very popular, right? Online business, online education, online food delivery, online something, everything is getting online. That means we need to make changes in legal system as well to include those provisions. And in civil law, what happens? Whatever changes are needed, it will be regularly updated. If you take the example of Consumer Protection Act, it talks about protecting rights of consumers. But now we are not simply restricted to going to a shop, buying something and being aggrieved there. You can even order something online from Amazon. Maybe you are not happy with the product that you receive. Might be you booked some service from Urban CLAT, you are not happy with the service. What do? That online goods, buying of goods, taking of services, that is also included under Consumer Protection Act. Why? Because they want to ensure that the written codes or the written laws are sufficient enough to address our needs. If online business is getting so popular, we need to include provisions relating to that as well in the legislations that we have. And same thing is being done in India also. Okay. So that means in India also, laws are being updated on time so that we can address the relevant issues. And legislation is like a primary source of law. We rely too much on what is written in those codes or legislations. From there, we try to derive some meaning, apply it in the given situation or the case that comes before court. Okay, so judges will try to read the code or the legislation, extract those principles, provisions, or sections which would be applicable and apply it in the given case. After that, give a decision. That is nothing but civil law countries. Okay, civil law, which is largely based on written codes. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what about common law? Common law is just the opposite of civil law, which dates back to 1066, the year 1066, and it was from a Norman conquest from where it started. It is basically started in England, and from there it became very popular in other countries as well. Here what happens is the courts, right? They are not too much dependent on the written books or written codes, but rather something is there as a written form. It just applies like a guiding factor. Okay, like judges would say that, okay, this is the provision, murder is a crime, this is that. But then judges are free to interpret it, to elaborate it, to apply it, to make some modifications. Judges can give some guidelines. Okay, judges can interpret a certain provision like Article 21 for that matter. Judges can say that, okay, Constitution simply says Article 21 means protection of life and personal liberty, but then we want to add some additional rights also to make life livable. Okay, that means judges are trying to apply their creative mind and give certain other additions to it. Like one day I said, legislation will give you the law in its skeleton form. Judiciary will try to include flesh and blood over there. Judiciary will try to elaborate the provisions, interpret it in a proper way. Okay, so that is what is common law system. Yes, you do have legislations, but courts are given a lot of authority to interpret the provisions properly. Okay, judges will rely on the code, but then it is just like a reference. They will be taking it. They are very much flexible that to address the changing needs, they can issue some guidelines and be like, these would be applicable from now on. Like if you remember this, during COVID, there was nationwide lockdown. Everything was closed down. But simply because everything is closed down, that does not mean crimes will also stop. People were still suffering. They wanted to file cases. But then it was not very safe to go before court and file a case. So Supreme Court took up that matter, and Supreme Court said that it's very important that justice is served to people, and it's not possible. Offline mode of hearing is not possible. So let's issue some guidelines which will help courts to get the process done through video conferencing. And Supreme Court took up the matter. That means judiciary is free to take up these sort of relevant issues and try to address it also. That is nothing but common law country. Okay, is it clear? Are you getting the difference between these two?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Main is this only, okay? Here it's written code, here judges are given too much of flexibility. That's the main difference. Okay, and if we talk about the differences, here are the differences. Value of codified law. How important is a codified or a written law? In case of common law, it is based on the concept of judicial precedent. They will simply refer to the codified law or the rules as a reference, but they are free to apply their own mind, give some directions, give some guidelines, or interpret a certain provision, give explanation over there. In case of civil law, codified laws are given more importance. Just like a machine, judges will try to give a decision, right? They would see, okay, this is the provision, these are the words mentioned. So they would try to extract the meaning, apply it. Okay, so they are not that much concerned with whether they are serving equity or not. They are applying the law, just like a machine. So that is what it is, that value of codified law. Value of codified law is very much in case of civil law, they are completely dependent on codified laws. But in case of common law, judges are free to interpret the provisions in their way. Next is role of judges. In case of civil law, judges simply rely on the written laws. They simply read the provision, extract the relevant sections, apply it in the given situation. Okay. But in case of common law, they are having a lot more freedom, creative freedom. They are having, legislators would give the law, but then judges are having the authority that they can interpret it properly. They can try to apply it in every single given situation, so that the law, we can get the most out of one single provision that we have in law. And talking about powers of courts, in certain common law countries, courts are given a lot of power. Like in case of US Supreme Court, US Supreme Court is given the power that you can even strike down a certain law, you can cancel out a certain law, saying that it is unconstitutional, it is violating provisions of constitution. And this same concept is even borrowed in India. In India also, judicial review is applicable. Supreme Court and High Courts can see whether a certain legislation, act, or a statute is violating provisions of constitution or not. If yes, they can simply say this provision is cancelled out, it would not be applicable. Or this entire legislation is cancelled out, it would not be applicable. Okay, so that means powers given to courts are a lot more than the legislation, because they can even completely remove a certain legislation, saying that it's unconstitutional if it is going against provisions of constitution. In case of civil law system, judges merely establish facts of the case and apply the remedies. Judges' role is mainly to provide remedy by relying on the written statutes. Okay, whatever best they can do, they would simply try to provide it. So power of courts is not that much as compared to a common law country. If you talk about examples, US, England, Canada, these are countries where common law system is being followed. In case of China, Japan, Germany, France, and Spain, civil law, it's a civil law country. Civil law system is followed. So now, is India civil law country or a common law country?
I think civil law country.
Why civil law country?
I think they are like more focused on written facts and written articles.
But then in India also we have this, right? It is a principle of common law that Supreme Court and High Court can even like cancel out a certain legislation. Then also in India, you will see concept of precedent is there. Whatever is once decided by court, that will be followed in subsequent cases also. Decisions of court are given very much importance. That's why your teacher asked you to read that judgment also. So decisions are that much important. And that's a feature of common law country. Then what country is
Okay.
India?
I think both civil law and common law.
Yes, right. So it is like a hybrid sort of a situation where it is having provisions of both civil law as well as common law. Yes, we do have elaborate legislations, thousands of legislations we have. Legislations are given importance, but only to the extent that it is being meaningful. If there is such a provision that it's like very vague, very not serving the purpose, judges are free that they can elaborate it, interpret it. Right? Similarly, judges can also cancel out a certain like provision also. But again, judges cannot make a law, right? They cannot say that, okay, this is an act, take it. But they can simply issue certain guidelines. They can pass a recommendation to the legislation that maybe this is a very like burning matter, legislation should take it up and legislation should pass a legislation. In many cases like that, courts have said that maybe it's high time that a certain law is made by the parliament. Those can be done, but as such Supreme Court or High Court cannot give us an act. Okay, that means it is having like combination of both civil as well as common law. It's like a balance of both we have, you can see. Okay, is this part clear? Differences?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how?
Ma'am, what if what if this question comes like which you have asked recently, like India follows civil law system or common law system. So like how would I elaborate it, like in points which you discussed, or like
there you can give like an intro sort of a thing where you can mention that, okay, like legal system in a certain country is broadly divided into two classes, civil and criminal. Civil is this, criminal is that. After that you can mention that there are countries, like what is civil and criminal basically you can explain. After that you can say that there are countries which are civil law, which follow like civil legal system, some are common law. After that you can say, like talking about India, it is like a hybrid of both civil law as well as criminal law. What all civil law features are there, those you can explain like in paragraphs, might be you can explain and highlight the main things like judicial review. That point you can highlight, or like that you can do, so that they know basically what all points you are writing. Not like an essay, try to make highlight the important points. Okay, after that you can say that, okay fine, in India we have this concept of precedent. In India, judges can pass certain guidelines or stuff. Some cases also you can mention that, okay, in DK Basu case, 11 guidelines were given relating to rights of prisoners. Okay, like that you can give some examples, whatever you know, you can write it. And after that, for civil law also, you can say India is having like this legislation thing we have, right? Parliament for making central legislations. Then we have state legislatures also. There is clear demarcation of legislative power between center as well as states. They can pass legislations, thousands of legislation we have. Every single time, like on time, these are updated. Like this Consumer Protection Act example, which I told you, that also you can mention that in order to address the, like whatever recent things are coming, changes are made in legislations. Like that you can explain, and after that you can say like it's a combination of both, and that's a very good thing because it tries to balance out. If legislature is not taking a proactive step, judiciary is there. If judiciary is not doing, legislature is there. So it's a very good balance. Like that you can conclude the answer.
okay.
All right, so from your unit 2, these parts are done. All right, judiciary we have remaining. From unit 1, this one is done. Okay, sources of law we will do. So how free are you in the mornings? Like when do you get up in the morning?
Usually like between 7 to 7:30.
7 to 7:30. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if we take classes from 7 o'clock, will that be too early for you?
Not really. I can.
You can. Okay, fine. Actually, like I will be, I guess, free in the morning from Wednesday or something. So yeah, if you have the habit of getting up early only, then it's not like something compulsion because you need to be like in your state of mind, right? To read
Yeah.
also. So tell me.
Uh, yeah, like it's about like only Wednesday or every day.
Like if you are comfortable, I was thinking every day.
Uh, like Saturday and Sunday are the free days now.
Okay. So fine, Saturdays and Sundays leave it. Other days?
I can do. Yes, I
You
can.
can do. Okay, fine. So 7 o'clock we can do. Then might be like from like Monday and Tuesday, I guess I will be a little busy. So from Wednesday we can maybe start. Okay. You try it out. If it's not working, if you feel sleepy or something, you can freely let me know. We will shift to evening timings only. Okay. Because evening
Okay.
times timing is like shifted, right? Sometimes this, sometimes that. So I thought if you have the habit of waking up early, we can have it 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. So all right, fine then. So I'll share this uni module 2 document one more time, delete the previous one, go through this new document once, okay, so that you don't forget the points.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine then. We'll end this class here. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay.